Hi, I'm Katlin Smith. I'm the founder and CEO of Simple Mills. I started this company 4 years ago after cleaning up my diet and taking out a lot of the processed food and a lot of the sugar. And it made a huge difference. My joint pain went away, my seasonal allergies went away. I realized I had so much more energy. And as I looked around, I realized that food affects everyone. And lots of people around me, and so started the company with the mission of cleaning up those center aisles of the grocery store, those aisles that typically have so many carbs and sugar, and instead bringing protein and vitamins and minerals and real food to those aisles. So talking a little bit about the fears of starting a business, I think that they come and go as an entrepreneur. When I first got started, there was very little fear there. It was just, let's just go, 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 go. This is an idea that I felt really passionate about and saw a huge need for, and so wanted to get started immediately. But then the more money that I put into it, that's really where the fear started to kick in. So it was after I had put $5,000 of my own dollars into the business, which now looking back was not very much because I ended up putting a lot more in after that. But it was after that first $5,000 that I started to think, wow, that's a lot of money. What if this business never works out? What's going to happen in that case? And it was luckily right around that time that I actually received a scholarship to go to Chicago Booth for my MBA for women entrepreneurs. And it was with that scholarship that, or kind of receiving that scholarship, that I saw, wow, somebody else really believes in this idea too. And so after that, I poured a lot more money into the business before it was all said and done, before we even got our first investors. I had sold my car. I had sold a lot of my things. I had put in $70,000 of my own money. I had cashed out all of my vacation. My parents had reverse mortgaged their house to put $200,000 into the business. So it was a lot. But that was, I think that it's really important to surround yourself with other people who believe in your idea or believe in you. A lot of times it's not the idea that you start with, that's the idea that you finish with, but it's the encouragement from the people around you that really keep you going. So there are certainly times as an entrepreneur where you can feel like an imposter. I think for me, certainly managing a team for the first time and managing this experienced team toward a really difficult objective was one of those times. What's really important to remember when you're feeling that way is, first of all, that we're all human. We're all working on different things, and there's all things that we haven't learned yet. And so one of the favorite phrases that I've written down for myself, even just to remember on a daily basis, is just that phrase, I haven't learned that yet. And it's completely okay to say, but sometimes you feel like you can't say it, or you feel like you have to pretend that you know something that you don't. And so when you recognize that it's okay, then all of a sudden you start asking more questions and learning the information faster, or you give yourself permission to be wrong so you're less defensive when you are wrong. And instead you're just looking for the right solution instead of trying to prove that you're something you're not. I think one of the common places where entrepreneurs fail in their first few years is in putting together a team. And you go out and you try to hire the best possible people for the roles on your team. But a lot of times you're not familiar with what somebody in marketing or operations or finance might do on a day-to-day basis, or what contributes to their success in the long run. And so you might, as a result, miss-scope the role. You might think that a particular set of experiences are important when they're not. Or you may not notice some of the places where people typically fail as employees. So cultural elements, so like does someone have too large of an ego, or are they going to be able to have effective conversations with their teammates about conflicts when they arise? And these are all things that you get from managing a team and making a lot of mistakes. And so like many entrepreneurs, I've made my share of hiring mistakes, and I think those are some of the most difficult ones, because you're affecting someone else, and when you bring people into your company, you want all of those people to succeed. When I think about being afraid of failure, one of the things that I try and remind myself is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I started this company because I have a huge passion in the space, and also because I saw that there was a very real problem to be solved. And with that, I felt compelled to start this company. And I use that word because it was almost unnatural. I had to do it. But that was really listening to my gut instinct of what I was supposed to do. And really, if you think about the best decisions in your life, they're ones where you've gone with your gut instinct on things. And so there is kind of a rhythm to life, and there are things that work out and there are things that don't work out, but altogether they form like a broader picture, like a broader kind of woven tapestry. And so sometimes you have to be okay with failure, and recognizing that it might be part of a bigger picture that you can't see yet. And so with that, you can actually approach situations with a lot more calm, without having to worry so much of what happens if I don't execute this perfectly, because there is kind of a grander kind of scheme at play. I think one of the fears that you have to shed is this caring what people think of you. It's caring what, in particular, I think one of the most tempting ones to care about is caring what your employees think of you. Because at the end of the day, you want to be a great manager, you want them to like you, but your number one job is to make the business successful. And to, at least in our case, to really help push along our mission. And so that has to become my number one goal. And when I think more about the mission, and when I think more about the reason why we exist, and zero in on that instead of zeroing in on how much like my team members like me, then it makes me a better manager. It helps me make better jobs for our team members. And so there's some sort of power that comes from pulling the ego out of it and focusing more on the reason why you're there, and what your job is in the team.